Chapter 75. Conference. Every member of every department assembled in the large meeting hall. As for Ranga, I had forgotten that he was sleeping within my shadow. He's in a sleep mode, conscious but unable to move. I couldn't measure his abilities, but it is clear that he's undergoing some kind of evolution. Well, he'll probably come running out if I wind up in some perilous situation. He's rather uninterested in the conference, but is nonetheless listening. I guess it's time to begin. The moment I thought to declare that the meeting has begun, I apologize for the intrusion in the middle of the meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, a guest has arrived here on an urgent matter and requests immediate audience with you. A soldier on lookout ran in and so reported. Rigurdo was about to reprimand the soldier, but Kaizen calmed him down. We haven't begun yet, so it's fine. However, it is troubling that people can so easily enter here. Rigurdo, we need to look into this later. I am truly ashamed of myself. Nah, we just got the idea and everyone's working hard as is. I replied, comforting him. In fact, even if we find something lacking, we only need to improve for later. So, it's probably best to think of the long-term benefit. I had that guest escorted here. It's been a long time, Rimuro. We have come to avoid you during your time of need. We hope it is not too late. With these words, the Blue Moon Kingdom's Freedom Association Guildmaster Fuse came in, fully armed, prepared for battle. If I think about it, it's been what, 10 days since we had the adventurers and merchants go, and we had them deliver the information and request assistance, I think. I am truly grateful, but are they okay associating with us? I apologize for disturbing you during your busy war preparations. However, we found your defenses lacking. The Farmers Kingdom's main force has yet to arrive, right? According to our intel, a total of 15,000 troops are coming. Though it may improve your morale, I hardly see this as a right time to be merry. Though we may lack in ability, we will support you to the best of our ability. Clearly prepared to die, he delivered this heated adios. Yup, it's really hard to tell him that the war is already over and continuing. This is a good city. Carefully built houses decorate your well-planned streets. The paved roads wouldn't lose even to the royal capital. I was surprised. Hardly would I want to turn into a field of battle. I suggest we launch a surprise attack to quickly destroy the enemy's head. We have heard the church backs the enemy, so we have brought over 50 beer rank and above adventurers. The country cannot openly support you, I hope you understand, but the 50 of us will cut deep into the enemy ranks and slaughter. The department members are staring blankly at Fuse, who is continuing the passionate speech. To us, it's all been there, done that type of thing, but I had expected Grumman to abandon us, to think they really sent reinforcements. Though we did have an agreement with them, surely there was no a way out. This makes me kind of happy, but that being so, yeah, I appreciate the sentiment, but it's already over. Over? What do you mean? How should I say this? In other words, in a few words, I annihilated them. Although he was speechless, his face was clearly saying, huh? Yomo came up to pat him on the shoulder and Kabal was saying something to comfort him. Ellen and Guido were saying things like unbelievable, right? Yeah, well, I guess it is. I mean, not even 2 weeks have passed since they declared war. They were probably expecting the army to take a week to reach here. Us to buy 2 or 3 days fighting in the fields, and if worst came to worst, hole up in the fort. So when they arrived and saw us carefree, they seemed to have convinced themselves that the army was running late, though we were so merry that they did suspect that something was off. Anyways, thanks to Alan's and Cabal's explanation, they seemed to have understood the situation, so we had our soldiers escort the 50 men waiting outside to the inn to relax. Since it came to this, I might as well have Fuse participate in the conference. Though he can't represent Roman Kingdom's official position, he can at least offer a human opinion. Now then, let's begin the conference. I wanted to say, but would you have a moment? Lester asked, raising his hand. Did something happen? What, is there a problem? I asked. Yes, the thing is, we finished developing the magic item long-distance communication wall. It is now possible to converse while seeing the other party. A wonderful invention, but why bring it up now? I thought that. When I reported the event to the Dwarf King, he told me that he had some things he wanted to say. So since we are all gathered here, I kind of figured this might be a good time. I see. If that's it, I don't see a problem. Lester, I don't mind, but shouldn't the conversation be held in secrecy? We have Yomo and Association's chief over here, so is it fine? If it's a private conversation, shouldn't we hold it later? Not at all. The Dwarf King also wishes to mention some things regarding future international relations. When I told him about today's conference, he said that he'll assemble his ministers as well. So they are currently waiting over there. Yes, that's how it is. I see. We never did announce the establishment of diplomatic relations with the Dwarf Kingdom. The two contracts that we have are the non-aggression treaty and the technological cooperation treaty. Though those would be meaningless if our country ceases to exist. However, we now have the advantage. I believe that the previous events are of a magnitude that they cannot ignore. If anything, we prove to be a country that can destroy and arm an army of 15,000 men. Will they officially declare diplomatic relations between us or perhaps seek to destroy us as humanity's enemy? Bester, I have to ask, did you tell him that I have become a demon lord? Ah, yes, I told him everything, as expected. He should have only confirmed it this morning, so for him to so quickly assemble the ministers only evinces how gravely he views the situation. Well, if you were told that Demon Lord class monster created a city and evolved into a Demon Lord, surely you'd sweat a bit. He would learn of this sooner or later, though, so this might be a good chance. So at this point, continuing the conversation as is will probably not cause any further problems. I mean, while planning our next steps, I did not want to hear his opinion. Got it. Then bring the communication equipment and set it up. We'll wait for you and prepare for the emergency council. I declared, this is a sudden development, but also a good opportunity. We're deciding our future here after all. Thus, we decided to hold a global conference instead of meeting right now, scheduling it an hour away. Right after relaxing, Fuse heard our conversation and with an amazing look on his face ran up to me and, hey, didn't you just say something really important right now? I might be wrong, but did you just say that you became a demon lord? He said, trembling. Does he need to be? No need to hold back, man. You have bathrooms. We have bathrooms around. Demon lord, right. I did become one. What of it? But more importantly, before you piss yourself, shouldn't you use the restroom? Are you an idiot? There's no time for that. Became a demon lord. Yo, what's up with that? What a pain. From the beginning. No good if I don't explain it from the beginning. Well, I did tell him I annihilated an army, but I guess I can't expect him to guess the rest. I decided to summarize the events and explain, and so I explained it all to Fuse. Pardon the intrusion. Another guest seeks audience with Primero-sama. How should we proceed? The same soldier as last time asked. What's with that? So many guests these days. Leaving Fuse, who was saying something, grumbling at the sky. I decided to meet this guest. I headed for the room where the guest was waiting for me. When I entered, I saw an exquisitely dressed gentleman and five men who had an air of experienced officers about them. The gentleman was sitting on the sofa with the five officers standing behind him. I could easily see that they were well trained. The gentleman sitting on the sofa had a good face and could easily had been a model in his young days. In his younger days, his narrow eyes would be his distinguishing feature. Good day. Sorry for the wait. Pleased to meet you. I am Rimuru, currently working as this city's king. I hope we get along. I greeted them in a way I felt appropriate. Though I became a demon lord, I have no clue about manners or formalities, nor does anyone around here know much about it. Well, I do think that it would be nice to be taught these things. Though upon hearing my greeting, the narrow-eyed man stood up and opening his eyes wide with a kuwa. So thou art the demon who had bewitched my daughter. Hast thou said thy prayers? He said, beginning to chant an extremely high combustion spell. Hey, this geezer is nuts. From what I see, that's the highest tire spell to get going there. At this power level, it would certainly cause some damage to the city. Clearly a spell used against armies. What's this guy on? I have no idea what he's saying. He tricked his daughter. What's that about? Right, as I was completely at a loss. Wait, Papa, why did you come here? Ellen came flying in. And perhaps after realizing the spell from a single glance, she hit the gentleman squarely on the head. A beautiful supa sound resounded through the room, and the gentleman regained his sanity. It seems that his gentleman geezer is Ellen's father. And after hearing Ellen's explanation, he finally calmed down. What an annoying guy he is. My bad. I had heard that my daughter was captured by some demon lord, so I was quite panicked, he said with a bright smile. Even so, what point was there in preparing the highest tire combustion spell? What a ridiculous father. No, Your Excellency, the received report was correct, but you jumped to a wrong conclusion. I knew it. Papa's at fault here. A secretary-like person, and Ellen ganged up on him. That is kind of pitiful, but I don't feel any sympathy towards him. He's just paying for his own stupidity. After things calmed down, he introduced himself again. Ellen's father, the narrow-eyed gentleman, is a high noble of sorcery's dynasty Sarian, Duke Elalud. He's related to the Emperor, his uncle to be precise. In short, he's one of the three bigwigs of Sarian. I can't hide my surprise. Ellen is a true Ojo-sama. She can even be called a princess. To become an adventurer at that social status, she's too free-willed. I don't think that those stopping her are correct, but I won't do it myself. I mean, she herself doesn't seem to care. There's probably people protecting her from the shadows as well. They've done well not to let information slip. Though that's probably the result of Cabal's and Guido's hard work. Let's thank them for it later. But now, so is the purpose of your visit limited to Alan only? That wouldn't be funny. I glanced at Duke Elalud. Fu. Of course, that's not the case. We are in considering how we should treat your country from now on, so I came to see it myself. No need to worry believing I was careless. This body is only a homunculus. I noticed upon his words. For someone important from the sorcerer's dynasty, his body houses very little magical energy. Though the officers seem to be real, the gentleman's body is not as expected of a high noble. He's careful, but more importantly, I want to learn how to make homunculi later. And that brings us to the next point. We'll have Duke Elalud participate in the conference as well. An hour has passed by now. It's time to start the conference. But returning to the large conference room, I found everyone waiting for me. I had the Duke's group escorted to a set of empty seats. It's probably best to start with a self-introduction. That is, there are many people here who have connections to large countries. So let's start it thus. First, we'll have everyone not from Tempest introduce themselves. Dwarf Kingdom, military nation Dwargon, representing them, their king himself, Gazelle Dwargo. Though only projected as an image, his dignity is impossible to hide. Small country Burmund. Unfortunately, we don't have anyone representing them. However, we do have Fuse, the Freedom Association's branch guild master, and he's rather friendly with Baron Belloward. Though he doesn't have decisive say, his opinion should have some weight. A sudden addition to our table, a high noble from Sorcerer's Dynasty Sarian. Duke Elalud is a no-good doting father, but his current face is that of a stoic noble, and via his position in the council, he holds sway over the whole country, so no disrespecting him. So looking over the guests, it's clear that many distinguished individuals have shown up. A muster-only meeting may lead us to fall into some mistaken conclusion. Thus, I am rather thankful that we have so many participants from the human side. Next, we introduced all the members from the Tempest, and it will finally my turn. All right. There's one person I want to introduce to you, though you probably have heard his name already. So please don't be surprised. Now then, come forth. I thus began the introduction, knowing what was to come. Gabil swallowed his saliva and tensed up. The air in the room changed, and everyone turned silent. And wahaha, I have been called, and here I am. I called Vildora out via Storm Dragon release. Using my clone as a base, he appeared as a beautiful young man, giving everyone a sidelong glance. This is my best friend, Bildora. Please be kind to him. I introduced him. Bildora's the name, though. I'm called Storm Dragon. Pleased to meet you. Beldora greeted everyone. Dead silence enveloped the room. No one moved. And with a flap, Frozen and Ellen fainted screaming, "Ay!" Rigordous group and the hobgoblins fell prostrate before him. It all turned very chaotic. Of course, the conference was temporarily suspended for a break. We hadn't started yet, had we? I couldn't help but think. End of chapter 75.